Hey, what is happening, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo. Welcome to the channel and welcome to a brand new episode of JJ's One Man Podcast. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying all the episodes I've been uploading to YouTube and also the exclusives I've been posting up on Patreon every once in a while. I'm trying to give everybody a little taste of something here and there and a little bit of something unique for everybody in all the different places that I'm at. So, with that being said, this episode is going to be about Kingdom Hearts. I finally get to talk a little bit more about Kingdom Hearts as far as my perspective on the series, covering it for many years. I've been with the Kingdom Hearts series since the very beginning, ever since it first came out on PlayStation 2 here in the United States, in North America specifically. I think it might have been out earlier in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, but I've been with the series since it first came here to North America, and I've played it for many years, and I love it. I still do. I still enjoy playing the games every once in a while, playing them on streams, covering them, following all the latest news about different stuff, especially now that Kingdom Hearts 3 is really a big thing, and it's going to become a thing in the next month or so. It's coming out very soon, so I'm excited as much as anybody else is excited. But I want to give some more thoughts about Kingdom Hearts. I figured, this will be a fun, cool monologue, one-man podcast, just to kind of give you guys some good food for thought, to talk a little bit about the series, and where I stand on it overall. Now, personally for me, my favorite game out of the entire Kingdom Hearts series has to be Kingdom Hearts 2. I've said that many times over, throughout the years, in various different editorials and reviews and podcasts and videos that I've talked about. I've reviewed just about all the Kingdom Hearts games that are really important now on my YouTube channel, as well as also on the Coalition website, as well as also I've talked about it on various other podcast shows where the topic of Kingdom Hearts has come up. Now, I haven't reviewed every single Kingdom Hearts game on my YouTube channel, obviously. I only really did part 1 and part 2, but eventually I'm probably going to get to some of the other games. I'll probably do some videos for them and actually, talk about them a little bit more. But for me personally, if we're just going to kind of, give my best out of the entire series, has to be Kingdom Hearts 2. I've talked about it also with my friend Skyward Wing on one of my other shows. And one of the things that we relate with that specific game is that we not only love the gameplay, we feel like it's a huge step up over the first Kingdom Hearts game, but also there's a couple cool, fun, key moments in Kingdom Hearts 2 that I feel like make the series shine to its utmost max. And I don't think it's ever really hit that same kind of apex ever again. The specific scene that I'm talking about in Kingdom Hearts 2 is when you go back to Radiant Garden, or go back to Hollow Bastion as it's first called before it becomes Radiant Garden, and it's that section where Goofy kind of gets hit in the head, and it's kind of has that that fake out death where all of a sudden Goofy got really hurt pretty badly, and now everybody has to fight for Goofy and take down the Heartless. I thought that was a fun, neat scene, even though it's really cheesy and it's really kind of out there. It's not necessarily anything too serious, but it makes it feel like it's serious. You got to go roll out on a whole bunch of people just because they hit your boy Goofy. It's pretty crazy. But what really makes it stand out to me more than anything else, throughout the entirety of the series, is one of the few times that you actually get to team up with a bunch of Final Fantasy characters. Now, I understand in Kingdom Hearts 2, you get Auron as your side character that's part of the Hercules world, and I think that's fine. I think it was an interesting choice not to use Hercules himself as another character you get to team up with. Maybe in Kingdom Hearts 3 that'll actually be a thing, but in Kingdom Hearts 2, you get Auron as your character in the Hercules realm. But when you're in Radiant Garden and Hollow Bastion, you never really team up with any of the other Final Fantasy characters. You don't get to team up with Cloud, you don't get to team up with Squall, or Leon as he's called in the series. You don't get to team up with Tifa or Yuffie or any of these other characters. But within that one moment, which is probably in the span of maybe 5 or 10 minutes, you actually fighting the Heartless, and the different Final Fantasy characters are in different areas fighting alongside of you. They're not your partners. You don't get to see any of their health meters or anything of the sort, but they are fighting next to you, and they're actually damaging the Heartless that you run into. And I thought that was really cool, is the music was all working together, all the different types of characters you get to see. Right at the very end, you get to team up with Cloud, and I think you get this also a little short cutscene involving Sephiroth right before you actually get the optional boss fight later on to fight Sephiroth in, I believe it's in the fissure, or the deep fissure or something like that, within Radiant Garden. It's one of the other areas you go to way later into the game. But to me, that's the scene that really made Kingdom Hearts 2 stand out to me. It's not just the controls. It's not just, how powerful Sora can become with all his different drive forms and all that stuff. It was really that scene that stood out to me more than anything else. Now, that being said, even though I'm a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts 2, let's not discount the first Kingdom Hearts game. Let's not like actually take away a lot of the big stuff that happened with that game, because obviously it was the first in the series. It did a lot of the specific stuff that really kind of established the lore and also a lot of the rules with the rest of the Kingdom Hearts games, which most of the time, or at least, over time in other entries, the series has kind of forgotten or kind of like retconned to some extent. Like there was this whole thing about like making sure that you don't let anybody else know within the worlds know that you're actually roaming around and actually influencing some of the things that are going on. That's a rule that's kind of been forgotten, even though they mention it here and there in some of the later games. And I think they've even mentioned it in some of the demo stuff and the trailers for Kingdom Hearts 3, which I always thought was kind of weird, but it didn't really bother me too much. So getting back to Kingdom Hearts 1 though, I love the music. I think that music track by Utada Hikaru, Simple and Clean, is a phenomenal song. It's a phenomenal remix to the original song. I think that's the one song throughout the entire series that's really stuck with people, deservedly so. I still remember the actual commercials that were being shown on TV here in the United States when that game was first coming out. It was like you could not get away from it. It was that good. It was that in your face, and it was that gravitating too. And I remember when I finally first got Kingdom Hearts on PlayStation 2 and I realized what it was, I was like, yo, this is awesome. And I finally sat down, I played it, could not stop playing it. I played it for like maybe over a week or two, doing everything that there was to do in that game. And I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was really awesome. Now, don't get me wrong also, some of the characters, especially the Final Fantasy characters at the time back then, I really didn't know too much about. I really didn't know too much about Sephiroth when I finally got to face him in Kingdom Hearts 1 in that optional boss fight in the Hercules Coliseum. There was little things like that. And same thing even with the Ice Titan. It didn't really occur to me what that was until I realized, oh, that's the Ice Titan from Hercules. There's little things like that, and a couple of the other Final Fantasy characters as well. But overall, still a phenomenal game, still a lot of fun. I still love it. I think that, a lot of people have forgiven most of the design choices and some of the other control issues and platforming and stuff over the years, even though those are probably some of the major problems with the game. Everything else, the presentation, the visuals, was it the music, everything involving like the combat is pretty damn awesome. Now, another thing I do want to mention a little bit about, and this will probably be like a good way to kind of wrap up this conversation, even though we're not going to talk about every single Kingdom Hearts game. Birth by Sleep. I think Birth by Sleep is very interesting as well. It was an interesting choice because after Kingdom Hearts 2, that was the prequel that was to Kingdom Hearts 1 that came out, and a lot of people were expecting, understandably so, Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be the next entry in the series, and I'm kind of happy that they didn't come out and call Birth by Sleep Kingdom Hearts 3 and then have that be a prequel, because you notice that in a lot of video game series where they'll always go into the next numbered entry, but the story where it takes place is a prequel to previous games in the series, and I was never really a fan of that. I always found that a little bit annoying. Like, if it's a next numbered entry in the series, give me the next series of events that happen after the last story has ended. I always felt like there's a good sense of like consistency and continuity there. But this game was a prequel. I think it was cool to have different playable characters. We get away a little bit from Sora, Donald, and Riku. I get to see a little bit more of the Kingdom Hearts universe, and I think that's pretty awesome. A lot of people love Aqua. A lot of people love Ventus. Terra gets dumped on a lot. A lot of people say like most of the stuff that goes on in the series' lore is really Terra's fault, and I could get that. I could kind of roll with that. It's kind of funny, to be honest with you. There's that type of thing, and also that Donald never heals you, which is always kind of like a joke within the Kingdom Hearts community. I always thought that was kind of funny. But I still loved Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I played the heck out of it on PlayStation Portable. It's one of the few games that actually really messes up the frame rate with the PlayStation Portable. What I'm talking about specifically is the final boss fight against I forgot the name of the actual character, but it's the mysterious figure, and I believe it's supposed to be Ansem or Xehanort, young Xehanort, like traveling through time. And the whole boss fight is so crazy that the frame rate like really slows down. It gets completely messed up. It almost comes to the point where it's almost unplayable. I know in the other versions of the game on the PlayStation 3 and on the PlayStation 4, this boss fight is a lot more manageable and stuff, but I remember vividly on the PlayStation Portable just trying to deal with that boss fight against the mysterious figure, and it was like super frustrating because I would end up getting killed from attacks I couldn't see because the frame rate was so slow. It was absolutely insane. Anybody that owned that game on PSP knows exactly what I'm talking about. There was a couple other instances here and there on the PSP that also had similar issues, but really it was that particular boss fight that I felt like was the only one thing that was wrong with that game. It was pretty insane. So overall, I still love the Kingdom Hearts franchise. I still think it's a fun series. I can't wait to play Kingdom Hearts 3. One of the things I'm hoping in Kingdom Hearts 3 is that we get a lot of loose ends tied up. I hope for, at least in my case, I'm hoping for a very happy ending. And I know some people are kind of expecting that. They want things to be a little bit more darker because obviously we've gone on this journey with Sora and friends for so long. They can't always be like a crazy happy ending. Everything can't be happy-go-lucky and stuff. I understand that. And I'm totally cool with going into the darker route or darker themes here and there, especially dealing with all the Organization 13, the 13 Seekers of Darkness, and all this other stuff. But I still want to have like a happy ending a la Return of the Jedi, because I feel like we've put so much time and effort into this series, and I feel like I've spent so much time with these characters. I want to see things kind of work out good for them. I want to see them go into dark places and deal with a lot of hardships like they've done in all the different games, but I still want to at least come out on top, as far as like feeling happy about all the time that I put into the series. Whether that actually is going to go down with Nomura or not is yet to be seen. We got a couple months at the time I'm recording this episode of JJ's One Man Podcast to find out, but it should be pretty damn cool. I'm really excited for it. One other thing I do want to mention on before I wrap this up, a lot of people also feel like they could get very confused with the Kingdom Hearts games because of the convoluted storytelling. There's so many characters. Some people complain about how they can't really get into it because of all the Disney Final Fantasy crossover and a lot of the cheesiness that comes with it. If you kind of just roll with what the game gives you and not really think too much about it, you'll really have a lot more of a fun time. This isn't something like, along the lines of like Final Fantasy 6 or Final Fantasy 7, where they're dealing with like real themes of like, lost, hardship, death, and all these crazy things. This is still a Disney game at heart, and it's still very lighthearted and fun for a lot of people, families, not just older gamers out there. But again, just roll with it. Just accept what the game kind of gives you, and don't really kind of like think about it too much. Just suspend your disbelief is really what I'm trying to say. And you'll end up enjoying the series a lot more. And, more than anything else, if you're not really too much about the story with Kingdom Hearts, you'll definitely enjoy the gameplay. There's still, even though it's hit X to win, mashing the X button constantly, but there's still a good element of like, real-time action gameplay, that, RPG elements, a lot of different areas you could explore that are pretty wide and pretty big. They're only going to get bigger with Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's a good thing. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see where the series goes next, what might happen after Kingdom Hearts 3, what might happen beyond that, or if we'll get any other like DLC or supplemental stuff for some of the games that we have now. So I'm probably going to be playing Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on my stream at some point. I know I started playing it not so long ago, and I'll probably do it again tonight after I record this JJ's One Man Podcast. You guys might see me talking about it on social media and stuff, but I encourage you guys to check it out. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, come hang out, spread word about this episode of JJ's One Man Podcast. Some of your friends, get some good food for thought out there, and that'll be that. So let me know what's up in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for all my videos related to stuff like this, all my other game reviews, all my interviews, my Definitive Discussion Rebooted series. I got some new guests coming very, very soon that I know that you guys are really going to dig. And I'm going to be doing more episodes of these. So hopefully probably right after this episode now, I'm going to put up a Patreon exclusive episode of JJ's One Man Podcast. So stay tuned for that. There'll be links in the description box below so you guys could go check out my Patreon page. Again, anybody that supports me at the dollar level or higher, you're going to get all these exclusive episodes and a bunch of other great exclusive stuff, including some exclusive interviews that I'm going to be doing very, very soon. So anyway, I will talk to all of you again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.